Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you all for tuning in. It is December 14th, Tuesday, now 67 degrees in Phoenix, sunny. And we go all the way back to 1973 for this one. If you're a wandering backslidden pilgrim wanting to come back to the Lord, this is the song for you. Welcome back. It was the song that the group auditioned at Calvary Chapel Costa Mesa back in the Chuck Smith days to begin their band, Love Song. And here we see them on the Kathryn Kuhlman show in 1973. So they look very young, a lot different than they do today. And without further ado, let's get to that show. Let's see if I can find it. What happened to it? It was here. Please bear with your cameraman, as he always has a little bit of. Let's see. Oh, I think that was it. I'm gonna have to do this one over. Okay, here it is. Sorry about that. The phone.
No wonder we are a happy people, Go ahead.
I'd like to have you hear the testimony of one of our young men who actually
Look at how young Chuck Smith is
Love
there.
Song, and God brought these boys to the Lord about 1.5 years ago.
Well, my story is kind of typical, I guess, of a lot of young people nowadays. My search for God started when I started taking drugs, and I got sort of caught up into the whole thing that was happening with the lyrics from the Beatles. And just about the time I started taking drugs, Sgt. Pepper came out, and I was looking to all these men for answers, and trying to follow this path of the way hippies were going. I sold all my possessions, and I went to Hawaii to live in a cave and to live off the land and stuff. And after sitting over on the islands there for a while, which was kind of like a dream to me because, it's so groovy over there and everything, and I had everything that I wanted. I had my guitar, and I had drugs, and I was searching for God. And I just realized that God really wasn't anywhere in the world. Like, I couldn't go to a place to find him. And I found this vacuum in my heart that wasn't satisfied. And I realized that I wasn't doing any man any good sitting on a rock over in Hawaii. So I came back to the mainland, and I ran across, I started hearing about the Bible and some of the scriptures in the Bible. And I heard the scripture that said, "Seek and you will find." And it impressed me as a promise that God was promising me if I looked hard enough that I would find him. So I just continued my search, and I went through a lot of different ways to try to find it. I went through the Eastern philosophies and some Buddhism and the Urantia book and Timothy Leary's trip, and I went through all these things trying to connect them, and I never really heard how simple it was to just accept Jesus and that he was the answer, because these other religions, philosophies kind of include him, but not as the Son of God and the Son of Man. So I I'd heard about Calvary Chapel, and I decided to give this place a try, because I was being open-minded, and I wanted to try everything that seemed like it might be a way. But it was the last place that I expected to find it, because in my heart I felt it would be up on this mountain somewhere with this long-haired guru, and he'd say, well, in 10 years we'll be on our way, And that's how I really expected to find God. And I walked in and I heard Pastor Smith just laying down the simplicity of the gospel. After I'd been making such a heavy thing out of it for 4 or 5 years, I was into LSD and drugs and marijuana. And I just heard, man, Jesus died on the cross to save you because no man can make it because we're all just really rotten inside, I'm coming to discover that more every day. His grace and his love is just so abundant, and that's the answer to the world's problems, and there is no other answer. So, being a musician, I wanted to dedicate my talent to the Lord, and the same with the fellows here in the group. So we all became Christians just about the same time out of the Laguna Beach dope scene, and we found the Lord just about the same time. We decided that we would start giving our talents to him, and the Lord started to give us tunes, and we'd like to sing one and share one with you now called Welcome Back. It's one of the first songs we wrote, and it's kind of like a story that, just like God speaking to anyone that finally finds the truth and decides to yield his life to Jesus Christ.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the things that you once believed in. Welcome back. What you knew was right from the start. All you had to do was be what you always wanted to be. Welcome back, love that is in your heart. I know that you thought you could turn your back. No one can be in your mind. But I can see that you know better now. You never were the untruthful guy. Yet I'm so happy now to welcome you back. Sometimes you just don't know what you're missing. Baby. Oh, welcome back to Jesus. Isn't that amazing? I mean, these were probably four of the most unlikely people you'd think the Lord would save, right? And look what he did. The rest is history. Many, many songs were written by these guys, as a group and individually. And what Chuck was saying there at the end on that song, that you come back to what you once believed and you walked away from it, that's very true to that culture in the time. In the late 1960s, excuse me, the Catholic Church had a lot of charismatic type of folk songs. And a lot of folk singers, well, they appealed for a while, but after a while, the young group went from the beatniks to the more bearded, as you saw, hippies, and looked for something new. So they did depart for a while. They came back to the Lord, and they made a big difference. Each and every one of us can make a difference in this life. Till tomorrow, should the Lord tarry, looking for you then.